Hello YouTubia, back again, BigRiggBlues. It's been a crazy week, I'll tell you that. Basically, things have kept me from doing videos. Last time you saw me, I did the pirate video. Since then, a couple things have happened. That same day, I had to go and try on a tuxedo. It was a trip which ended me up in another town with about an hour to go, with no way back to where I was, so I had to wait on someone else to show up, which they were going to do anyway. In fact, my ride just had to go early because they had another commitment. So I went to a nearby store. It's a place that sells, used music, movies, video games, comics, toys, basically a lot of different types of collectibles that a lot of people sell. They buy them and resell them. It's called Vintage Stock. While I was there, I picked up a couple cool things. First, Altered Beast for the Sega Genesis. This was a cool concept in a video game. I'm not exactly sure the entire story, because all about was the cartridge. It had no case, it had no instruction manual. But from what I can make of it and what I remember, your hero is raised from the dead by the god Zeus to go and rescue his daughter, who's been kidnapped by some dark god, I guess. I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. Ends up looking like some rhinoceros guy at the end, but you get these power-ups along the way. You get stronger and stronger, and you become some kind of beast. The first and last level, you're a werewolf. You're a different type of werewolf in the last level. And you have special powers. You become like a werewolf, a dragon, a bear, a tiger guy. I mean, there's a lot of cool little transformations in this. I'd love to see a modern version of Altered Beast. It's a really good game. Something else I got, something I was really shocked and excited to find. The Blues Brothers Band. Red, White, and Blues. This was produced in 1992. This is the band that was with the Blues Brothers act while John Belushi was still alive, and Dan Aykroyd were touring. A few years after Belushi died, the band got back together. They decided, this is too good of a thing to just let it end like that. So they started touring. They've done a couple of albums. There's this one. There's one that's a live album, live in Montreal, and another one I can't remember the name of. It's actually the hardest one to find if I remember right, but they're all pretty hard to find. This one was awesome though. Red, White, and Blues, Blues Brothers Band. I was really lucky to find this. Never actually seen it before. Never seen a place that had it. And the CD, I'd show it to you, but you couldn't really tell any difference. The camera won't pick it up, but it was in pristine condition. Looked like it had never been listened to. And honestly, you're going to be probably listening to a track from it now. I'm going to try and edit that in. But, I was so lucky to find this. Let's see, what else happened this week? Well, I had 2 tests. One on Wednesday, which was why you didn't see anything from me on Wednesday, because I had the test, and one on Friday. So I was studying Monday and Tuesday for the test on Wednesday, and Wednesday night, Thursday night, well, most of the time on Thursday, for the test I had on Friday. So I was a little busy. I could watch YouTube videos, but I didn't have time to make one, so that's why it's been so long. One thing that happened, the student newspaper on campus, the Arkansas Traveler, they published a letter I wrote. They wrote an article there was an article back on Friday about blogging and basically a phenomenon, and they mentioned something along the lines of it might be the end of face-to-face communication. Well, I wrote them back, wrote a letter telling them about YouTube, about how I was a video blogger, and I believe that, this will bring face-to-face communication back to the internet. So I'm going to throw a link or two over in the description there. One to the original article and one to my letter. You'll have to scroll all the way to the bottom to read my letter, because the 3 previous letters were from an article back on Monday about conservatives and homosexuality. So the other letters are all about that, and then there's mine, which kind of makes mine out of place. And maybe a lot of people didn't read mine because it was after all of those, just because it's a touchy subject. Anyway, there you go. Okay, so I did shoot some video this last week, about 20 minutes worth, but not for YouTube, unfortunately. Some of you may recall that a television company had contacted me about a week or so ago for contributing some content to a television program on DirecTV's channel, The 101, called Everyone's a Critic. So I did a little bit of video from that. They sent me a list of stuff to go over, some of which I cared about and some of which I didn't. So I talked about the stuff I cared about, sent in my video. Haven't heard back yet as to whether or not they can use it, just that they got it. That was on Thursday. So, there's that. Now, why didn't you hear from me Friday or yesterday, Saturday? Well, a lot of you won't see this till later Monday probably, but I'm filming it on Sunday. I was gone. I was at a wedding. I was a groomsman in a buddy of mine's wedding. I had hoped to have some videos of me in the tux to show you, or at least a photo. Thing is, Friday, about 10 o'clock in the morning till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, a big storm came through. The chapel was actually an outdoor chapel on Petit Jean Mountain here in Arkansas. So I got some pictures of the chapel beforehand, not internal pictures of the chapel, unfortunately. I'd hoped to get a picture of it all decorated up and everything, but never happened. See, the weather separated me and my camera. My camera was in my car, and the keys to my car were in another building from where we were, held up to get out of the weather. I was in a tuxedo, so I couldn't really go out in the rain until, it stopped, or at least the wedding was over. So, I didn't get any pictures of myself in the tux. Now, the wedding photographer did. Maybe I can get some pictures here in a week or so. I don't know. But I do have one thing I can show you from the wedding. You see, there's certain traditions that always follow a wedding, and I caught the garter. Well, I didn't really catch it, more as it fell between my feet when another guy who was meant to catch it didn't catch it. So yeah. It wasn't meant for me, but I've got it now. And to my good friends, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Harris. There's a bright future with the two of you, I know it. All my love. See you next time.